Welcome to Reunite with Self podcast. I'm your host, Rukan. Here, we will be discovering and unraveling what is truly holding you back. We will put the puzzle together and give you clarity on how and what you can do to create massive shifts in your life so you start creating the life you always envisioned for yourself. No more waiting. Whether it is liberating from dysfunctional family patterns or parenting tools and tips that actually make the difference, we will be diving into the truth and core of things that are simple and yet which no one talks about. I will be sharing with you all the things that would have changed my life massively if I heard any one of these episodes. A new world is awakening, and true bliss, harmony, and peace is possible on this earth, and my mission is to bring you closer to that one step at a time. In this safe space, I will hold your hand and give you courage and certainty that you can shift anything and everything in your life. It is time we break the pattern. Whether you want to be the parent you never had or make a shift in your life so you don't play small any longer, you will find the support and guidance in this space. My intention is for you to find your own answers within yourself while you listen to this podcast, so you feel the bliss of reuniting with your true essence, with self, with so much love and compassion and courage. From my heart to yours, let's keep it rocking. My gorgeous listener, welcome to another episode on Reunite with Self podcast. I've been recording this podcast in different places in the world, and I missed you guys. I missed recording my podcast. I missed another week last week. I've been missing a couple of times lately. I know I am going to, there is so many stories coming from the transformational, the transition moment I'm going through, and I'm going to be obviously more open about it, and I'm going to share with you what I have been going through. But it's like I mentioned this before, I guess, but it's been sort of like a second up leveling since I changed my life completely 2 years ago. The last 3 months have been truly transformational because there has been big things in front of me that I had to make decisions about. And when something happens, this is for me, and I think it has to happen that way. I'm sure astrologically it's supposed to be happening that way. I'm sure for me to get the lessons from it has to be that way. I am sure it's happening that way because I am going through that change myself energetically, and just me as a person, I am changing. So the things around me are changing too, but it's been challenging for sure. It hasn't been easy, but it hasn't been I can see now I have more, I'm so grateful for this. I have more capacity to, I guess, handle different challenges that are big challenges, but emotionally I am not as, I don't go down that as much as I used to, or even if I am affected by it, the duration, the time that I am affected by it is so much shorter. By the way, I'm talking with my allergies. My nose is I'm sure I sound different. So this is going to be an intro. I wanted to tell you that the transition that I'm going through, I am doing all the things so that I can have more focus, more time for my podcasts, both of them. So I have one in Turkish and one in English. This is the one in English, obviously. They are both same in nature. What I talk about, it differs a little bit because I become a little bit different in both languages. So I am doing, I'm making a lot of decisions and going through a lot of changes and beginning new things, ending old things, beginning new cycles, and just having a lot of experience in my life that like I'm learning so much right now. There is nothing like experience. There is nothing like experience. So I am doing all the things so that I can pour more of myself and give more time. So I will make it up to you so that I can focus a lot more on my podcasts. I will have like my schedule will be much more, my schedule will have spaces in it specifically for my podcast very soon, like in a couple of months. It's my schedule is going to be very different. I'm sure I'm going to be like, again, very busy, but it's going to be different. So one of my main focuses in my work will be both of my podcasts. So I will make it up to you, and I'm sure I'm going to come with a lot of like, I know that I'm going to come up with a lot of stories after this because I am in it. That's why I'm not sharing a lot about it now. But once I am on the other side, I will share a lot more with you. And I don't want to sound like mysterious or anything. This is just what I'm going through. That's why I missed it. It's been like extremely busy for me. Extreme. Like I'm always very busy, but this has been on another level. I've never experienced this before. I love writing things down and I love taking notes, and I always have my like schedule in different places. I do like a daily schedule as well where I write down the things I want to do that day or I'm going to do that day. And like lately, the past month especially, I am not even taking notes daily on what I'm going to do. Because if I start down, like if I start writing things down on the things that I need to do, that is going to take me so much time, like writing the list of things I needed to do. And, maybe I'm not even like halfway done. Maybe I am halfway done. Some things I'm just beginning, but some things I have completed. That's why I've been so busy, but it has been like maybe 30 pages of lists of things that I need to get done now. And it's been crazy. So I didn't even like bother to take time to write them down because they are all in my head. They're all urgent, very important, and they all needed to be done at the same time. So it's been just crazy, very crazy. I've never had this before. Like I would always have a lot of notes that I would need to get done, but I would never and a lot of the times I would maybe only get half of the things I would write down done. And I would still call it a great day if it includes a couple of things that are out of my comfort zone, that are things, that I would like, that's like challenging for me, that I would not normally do, that, moves the needle. But lately it's been like crazy, really crazy, like pages and pages and pages and pages of notes. And I didn't even bother like writing more of the notes. So that's how it's been really crazy. But at the same time, there was a balance to my life too, which I am so grateful for, like emotionally as well. I've had a lot of challenge emotionally at some points, but like just like in general, I don't know, I feel more grounded and stable because I am creating my life now. That's why I guess I feel grounded and stable because I'm making the decisions of my life now truly from my own energy. That creates a lot of change and creates a lot of difference. And so I'm in London right now. I am in between two flights. I live in Brazil and I live in Brazil and it's very late right now. It's like almost midnight when I'm recording this from my hotel room. I am sure the acoustics are really great here because there is like carpet on the floor. It's different. With the furniture and the curtains and everything, it just feels like different. I can hear myself. The acoustics here is wonderful. So It's almost midnight. I'm in London for only 24 hours. I'm flying off to Turkey tomorrow morning. I live in Brazil, so I moved to Brazil like 2 years ago. I'm going to be sharing more of my story with you in the coming months for sure. There is so many inspiring stories in my story that I want to share with you. So I live in Brazil. I moved to Brazil 2 years ago without telling anyone. I made big decisions and I needed to do them. I needed to get them done without telling anyone. It was like one of the best decisions of my life. I was telling two or three different people this today. So I've had a wonderful day. I was out in London. I love London so much. So if you're from the UK or London, hello. I love London so much. It's really beautiful. And I'm staying at like sort of outside the city. I was in the city today, but I'm staying somewhere near Scion Park. It's so gorgeous here. It's so green, so beautiful, so beautiful. I love the city, but obviously I love nature and I live in a small town in Brazil. So like for me, going to the city for a couple of days is amazing. London is such a beautiful, beautiful city. And I should never say never because, who knows where I would end up living later in life. But for me, big cities are like great to visit. So I was so inspired today. I felt so good today going out to the cafes, like seeing people and shopping. It's been amazing. So good. Energy of a city, like beautiful city like this. It's beautiful. But I'm guessing for now, a couple of days is enough for me. So I have my layover here. I do this on purpose so that I can relax because I can't do a lot of flights anymore, like if it's long distance. So I'm flying off tomorrow. I'm going to be more on vacation for I guess a couple of weeks. I don't know. That's the plan. We'll see. But I'll be seeing a lot of my friends and some of my family. So I'm so grateful. So I'm recording this episode from my hotel room. I've had like different experiences today. I went to Whole Foods. I was so happy. So I was doing things that I would normally do in the US and that I cannot do now. That's not a big deal for me, by the way, but it was just fun. I was in Whole Foods maybe for like more than an hour. And I think I had it at the restaurant, but like CBD infused drinks are a thing now, I'm guessing. So it was the first time I was seeing them. I've heard about them. And I've had one and I never do anything. Like I've never done any drugs or anything. So I was like curious to see if I would see any difference, but I think it didn't do anything. Maybe I felt relaxed. I don't know. So, and it's many hours now later. And so this is the situation. That's why I've been missing out on some of the episodes because it's been like crazy. Well, but the plan is for me to focus so much more, like let's say starting from September, I'm going to be focusing so much more. I'm going to have so much more time and focus. It's going to be like more like on the top of my list, let's say, more towards the top of my list in my week. So, but we're here and I want to talk to you about something today that I've been thinking about yesterday. It was yesterday, I believe. I'm jet lagged. So I was thinking about this yesterday. I read Jamie Kern Lima's book, Worthy, a couple of months ago. And maybe some of you know Jamie Kima. She starts her cosmetics brand in her living room, and maybe you already know the story, but if you don't know, just like a very, very short summary. She starts her cosmetics brand and her story is very inspirational. She talks a lot about her story in her books. The first one was called Believe, and now the second one is called Worthy. I've read both of them. And the second one I've just read a couple of months ago, and she talks a lot about her, like different parts of her story in the second book. In the first one, she talks a lot about her like business, like career, the story. It's so inspirational. She's a great storyteller. I didn't read it. I listened to the books on audiobook, and it's with her voice, and it's just amazing. Both of them, amazing storyteller. And on the second book, so yeah, she starts and she struggles for many, many years. She gets rejected, I don't know, so many years. She doesn't make any money. She's losing all the money. And then what ends up happening is at the end of the story, she sells her cosmetics brand to L'Oreal for $1 billion. And now she's doing so many other things. She was involved at the company as well as a CEO, but now I think she's fully retired from that. And she's doing so many other things, including like a podcast, her books, and all the things. And I was really, really like touched by a part of her story, like touched by something that she said in her story that I never, like, that I knew in my heart, but I never thought about it that way. And so I want to share with you today, like, the biggest gift a parent can give, like one of the biggest gifts to their child would be this, I'm guessing. And in her story, she is raised, she is adopted, she doesn't know this. She finds out when she's 27 years old, and I think she talks about it. She talks more about this in her first book, I believe, because I read both books like back to back almost in a year. So I believe that's what she talks about. She finds out by coincidence herself, like she was not told this. She finds out by coincidence, looking at a photo and looking at the date behind it or something, and she does the math and blah, blah, blah. She finds out, of course, it's like, it's very challenging for her because she doesn't know that she's adopted at all, and she's raised by this family. And what I want to tell you today is regarding like a later part of her story. So she went, like, as she's trying to build and grow her brand, her company, she is also looking for her mom, searching for her mom. And then she finds her years later, I believe. I don't know like about the years, but she finds her, and then like she has a closer relationship with her adoptive mother, the mother that raised her, but she still has a great relationship with her real mom. And she has these like really beautiful stories around this. So this was a part of her, I think, towards the very end of the book Worthy. And I was crying as I was listening to this. I was in my car, and I believe I listened to this part like twice. It was like watching an amazing movie. I was like really emotional, and I was really touched by this. And just the idea of this, like why she was telling this story, the reason why behind she was telling this. So as her real mother is on her deathbed about to die, and she's waiting on her for like days. Like the story is really beautiful. She gives a lot of details. Like it's really from the heart, so beautiful. And it's like a long journey with her mom's sickness, illness, and she's about to die. And right before she transforms into the other side, maybe this happens in the last 24 hours or something, that she's alive. Jamie asks her mom, so they're having conversations when her mother feels a little more like energized, when she has a little bit more energy and awake. And Jamie asks her real mother, who she did not raise her. She asks her, so I'll just tell you what I remember. So, Mom, what's your wish for me for the rest of my life? What's your big wish for me? What would you want to tell me that you wish for my future? because, this is the last time she knows she's having this conversation with her mom in like physical form. And Jamie says, I'm thinking that she's going to tell me, I wish so much success for you. I wish this and that for you, like for your family, for love, for your kids, for your success, for what you're building. It can be anything like this. So she says, I'm expecting her to say something like that to me. And what she says is, the mom says something like this: I hope, Jamie, that you never change. Never change, Jamie. And she's like crying when she is reading the part of the book. She's like truly crying. And I was crying when I was listening to it because I was so touched by this. It's like a parent telling their child, never change, after any challenges, disputes, disagreements, fights, arguments, maybe time that you didn't speak to them, like anything. After thinking, maybe whatever, they believe in you, they don't believe in you, they don't like parts of you, they like parts of you, like whatever the story is. And the story should be all of the positives that I've said. If I said any, I said a few, but it should be all the positives. I was just so touched by this because a parent saying never change to their child, because their child, it doesn't matter what age they are, but of course this is more effective as the child is a child, but it can be their adult child as well. The adult child is still looking for that validation, for that confirmation, for like the parent believing in them means so much more than anything to a child, to the adult child as well. So like anything they say is very important for them and has a lot of effect on the person. Like no matter what age, sex, no matter what success or not, like no matter what their story is, it has a lot of effect on the person, whether they're conscious of it or not, because it's coming from the voice of the god or the goddess for them, especially if they raise, like the mother that raised them. And this mother abandoned the child the first day. So she had a lot of wounds that she talks about. Like it's really, her books are really beautiful. And the way she tells her stories are like, her language is very clear, simple, and so beautiful. And when I heard this, that her mom said like, never change, it's really an example of someone transitioning to the afterlife, to the other side. And like just that wisdom of what would you wish for your child, and what would you want them to hear you say? So I am guessing why you like you would understand why I'm sharing this with you. It's so beautiful that a parent, this is a possibility that a parent says to their child, and it doesn't have to be in their deathbed, during their life, that they express and they show and they make their child feel that you are enough, you are worthy, what you are is so valuable and it's so worthy and it's so incredible and it's so wonderful. There is nothing in it that lacks. There is nothing in it that's too much or too little. There is nothing in it that I wish was not there. There is nothing in it was there that's not there. There is nothing in it that I wish it was different or more of or less of. Imagine knowing this, like this is a possibility. It doesn't mean, I'm not saying this is a possibility for you and your parents. I am just saying this when you know that this is the true love possibility. Like this happens when there is zero narcissism, when there is accountability of a parent, when the parent is like able to and willing to look at themselves and see their own beauty and show self-love to themselves and know that they're enough and know that they're worthy and know that like whatever they are, whatever they were, whatever they've done, like it's all right. It's all great. It's all enough. You are enough. Like, or they believe themselves they are enough. And so this is the only way, maybe. They don't have to be thinking about this the whole time or believing this the whole time. Just having this understanding in their core, having this understanding that this is a possibility for someone to believe for themselves first, and so that they can give to their child as well, and that this would be the best gift that you can give to your child, telling them that like never change, because a human is so like, we have such a tendency to criticize ourselves anyways. So a parent's job should be, I think, responsibility or just intention or just sometimes like remembering this, because it's like one-time thing and changes everything. It doesn't have to be like every week or every month or even every year. It can even happen once, but I know how much of a difference it can make in someone's consciousness, in a child's consciousness. Like these things are like, it seems like small, but small things are big things. They make a huge impact on the child's consciousness. So I just wanted to share with you like something beautiful that a mother says to their child, adult child, kid child, small child, teenager child, whatever it is, or 20 something year child. Never change. I hope that you never change. Like meaning that not that you don't go through your transformations and the changes in your life, but that you're like your core of like what I see in front of me, because like that's what you are. You are always changing. But what they see is that I hope you never change, because there is nothing that I would wish for you to change or for you to be different than what you are or what you have been. It creates tremendous amount of certainty and just clarity for your path for someone to hear that, because they know that the parent is not even worried about them. So imagine like what kind of like calmness it would create in your nervous system, in your body. What kind of difference it would make in the things that you think about, that the things that bother you, or the things that creates worry or anxiety for you. They would all leave, like not indefinitely, but you would carry this experience with you for your whole life that you can use in some of the times that you are challenged. Because hearing this from the voice of the God, the goddess, like the mother and the father that brought you to this world, because you see them as the God and the goddess when you were a child, like it is so powerful for someone, for their consciousness. And it's such a beautiful gift. I think it's like one of the biggest gifts that I can think of. That, or if you were to ask me, like if a parent were to gift a child with their words, like this would be I guess one of the best kind of affirmations, like the words that they can use to show their love for them. Never change is like never question yourself, never doubt if you are enough or not, if you did the right thing or not, if you're going to do the right thing or not when the time comes. Like you're going to be fine. I'm not worried about you. You are wonderful. I am inspired by you. And you're just wonderful. You're just like light. And yeah. And so like Jamie was obviously so touched by it and all the other things. That's why she was telling about this at the end of her book. Especially in her story, I'm sure it made a huge difference for her. And I'm sure it's something like very, very special for her. So I just wanted to share with you, these are some of the possibilities. Like it does, like when we see the contrasts we go through, that we've been through, it always helps us it always helps us to understand why we were challenged by our experiences with our families. It all makes sense when we hear healthy examples of what your inner child would have loved to hear or experience. Even if it's for someone else's story, it just clicks. You just understand, oh wow, like this is something that would have made a huge impact in my life for the rest of my life if I had a moment like this, even just once. And it doesn't mean that the person I'm talking about had a healthy relationship or not. It's just a moment in time that you understand. The reason that she writes about this in a book shows that how much of an impact it made on her. The yearning we have regarding our mothers and our fathers, it's about the yearning. That's why we yearn about it in our adult relationships. That's why we make big mistakes in our lives, in our romantic relationships. That is like the yearning of something we never had. But once we understand all of this, once we create the clarity, then our choices start changing tremendously. But first, clarity. First always comes clarity. And that's why I created this podcast. If it's your first time listening to the podcast, please go back, listen to as many episodes as you can. There is like dozens of it at this point. I'm sure you're going to have takeaways from any of the episodes that you listen to. The episode is all about creating clarity of any narcissistic behavior in your family, the family you come from or the family you were raised in, so that you can create clarity around this first and then start taking the action on, start changing your life and start creating your incredible life and start your self-actualization journey and begin understanding. And then like creating clarity about your family helps you start creating clarity about your adult life and why you made the choices, why you may have played small, why you may have self-sabotaged, why you were maybe more afraid of your success rather than your failures, and all the things. I'm here to guide and support you to create clarity first because it changed my life massively. It helped me change my life massively. And I just wanted to do this episode just to share with you something with a positive example of a moment that just clicks, like you understand why you were challenged for so many years, why it was like the challenges that might have, about moments that might have seemed small were actually not just those small moments, but it was coming from all your past, and they all had something in them about the inner child in you, like the child version of you one day. Your inner child, that what he or she was yearning for and like never had, and maybe had the total opposite of it, where there was lack of love in many dynamics in your family, in your relationship with your like bigger circle as well, with your relatives and all of that. So I'll leave you with this. I love you so much. I'll see you next week with the new episode, and just be ready for a whole new, like, it's my intention to create a whole new energy for you in the podcast where I am pouring in much more and much more value for you. And I hope I can serve you better every single day. I love you so much. I'll see you next week. I will see you shine your brightest. My gorgeous listener, if you had any takeaways from this episode or from this podcast in general, I would love to know. Please share this episode with a few loved ones right now. You never know how they can benefit from something so small. And please take a screenshot of this episode and share on IG, tagging me at Khewella. That is Khewella. Khewella. That is my goddess wear brand, my Instagram page. I would love to know what your takeaway was, or something you found inspirational, or a confirmation you believe in as well. That would make my day. And you can always DM me if you have a topic or a certain question in mind that you want me to talk about. And give me a 5-star rating if you feel like it. That would help this podcast immensely to get the word out. I love you. See you on the next one. I want to see you shine your brightest.